Hey Facebook friends, how's everyone doing today? Hope you're all having an amazing day. Tamie M coming to you from TamieMCoaching.com. And what I want to talk to you about today is 8 proven steps to help you recover from unhealthy relationships. If we haven't met before, I'll take a quick moment to properly introduce myself. Once again, my name is Tamie M. I am an empowerment coach for women. I help women recover from unhealthy relationships so they can finally find and keep happy, healthy love. So 8 proven steps to fully recover from unhealthy relationships. You know, if you've ever been in an unhealthy relationship, toxic, destructive, painful, abusive, whatever it is, whether that's in your romantic life, in your professional life, with your family of origin, with your in-laws, with, you know, some friends, whoever it is, if you've ever been in an unhealthy relationship, you know what kind of damage this can, how this can impact your life negatively. You know what kind of hell really it can wreak in your life, in basically every area of your life, right? So the reality is, it's very easy for us when we're in these situations and these circumstances to point our fingers and blame and shame even and criticize and judge, because the unhealthy individual that we are in relationship with is behaving in a way that they're giving us lots of stuff to point fingers at, right? It's very easy to do that, but the challenge with that is it doesn't solve anything. And the reality is, if we're in the room fully engaged over a long period of time in an unhealthy relationship in any area of our life, we've got to own that. Like, what the hell are we doing there to begin with, and why do we stay? So we've got to look at that. So, you know, the blame game doesn't really solve any problems. It doesn't really change anything. You know, you've heard it said, nothing changes if nothing changes, right? Well, pointing fingers and blaming, although often they give us plenty to point fingers at and plenty to blame, it's not going to get us anywhere. And what I learned a long time ago in my life was the only thing that was really going to make for any lasting change in my life was for me to take the focus off of them and turn it on me. Take the focus off of them and turn it on me, because we can become so incredibly obsessively focused on them and what they're doing and what they're not doing and what they're saying and what they're not saying, yada, yada, yada. And it becomes like a full-blown obsession at a certain point, right? We're trying to control and manipulate and influence and, you know, and badger and coerce and nag them into just acquiescing and being what we think we need them to be. Meanwhile, we're not being what we need to be for ourselves, right? So taking the focus off of them and turning it on us and doing our own work is one of the most powerful things we can do. And it's actually the first of the 8 steps that I'm going to go through here with you with regards to how to recover from unhealthy relationships. The very first thing is to do our own inventory and figure out why we are where we are. What are the patterns that continue to repeat in our lives over and over again? Because we can walk away from them, but if we don't change what's going on in us that attracted them into our life to begin with, that attracted us to them and them to us, if we don't change that internal pattern, which more often than not, the bulk of it is unconscious, my friends, if we don't do that work, we can kick them to the curb all we want. We're just going to attract another one just like them or worse. We're just going to attract another one just like them or worse. So the work is really beginning by focusing on us and doing our own personal work. I see I have a whole bunch of friends who have hopped on here. Welcome, welcome. Thanks for joining. Debbie, nice to see you. Barbara, welcome, welcome. Do me a favor, guys. If you're catching the broadcast live, drop me a 1 in the comments. If you're catching the replay, drop a 2. And if you're new to my live broadcast, let me know you're new and let me know where you're coming in from so I can reach out and say hello. So, I'm just going to do a little sidestep here before I continue with the 8 steps. What I'm going through with you here today in today's live is really in large part the foundation of a program that I'm launching. It is the new and improved next level 2.0 version of the Freedom Class, which is the recovery program that I work with clients. I take clients through over the process of 6 weeks. We go through this program to heal what it is that they are carrying that is causing them to be attracted to and attract one unhealthy relationship into their lives after another. Very, very powerful program. The 2.0 version actually opens on November 12th. If this is something that resonates with you, if the information I share with you tonight speaks to you in any way and you'd like information on that program, certainly drop me a comment or send me a private message. Right now I'm running an early bird special until November 5th. Anyone who joins by November 5th actually receives a $500 discount on the program. And it's a killer program, my friends. You receive lifetime access to over 30 hours of pre-recorded course content. Every week we have a 90-minute group coaching call and another 60-minute, 1-hour Q&A later in the week. So we meet twice a week. You have unlimited access to me throughout the course of the program through Facebook Messenger or email. There's some killer bonuses, ton of value in the program. So again, if this speaks to you, feel free to reach out to me and I'll get you some more information on the program, or you can always go to TamieMCoaching.com as well for more details on the program. So back to the 8 steps to recover from unhealthy relationships. First and foremost, we have to take the focus off of them. As difficult as that can be initially, it is the most important thing, no matter how they're behaving. No matter what's going on, take the obsessive focus off of them and turn it, all of that energy and that focus and that time, that mental psychic energy, all of that time, all of that energy that we pour into focusing on them and their poor behavior, turn it around, point it in our direction, and focus on doing our work. It all starts there. Number 2, taking an honest inventory of where you are and why. Taking an honest inventory of where you are and why, and that includes, by the way, any unresolved childhood trauma that you may be carrying. If you've been following me for even a good minute, you've heard me say before, 5% of the game of life is conscious, 95% of the game of life is unconscious. And if we have yet to resolve and heal our childhood wounding, the reality is we are carrying that in our unconscious, and we are therefore attracting to us like magnets. These unresolved wounds that we carry act like magnets, attracting to us the vibrational match, the vibrational resonance to those unhealed wounds. So when we take an honest inventory of where we are and why, we have to include any unresolved issues that we carry from the past, and I've heard people say, actually, clients and friends who have told me, I've heard other people say this as well, but even recently told me that they were talking to someone who said to them, and I quote, "That happened 30 years ago. Would you just let it go already?" Very easy to say, very easy to say. A lot harder to do. And the reality is, if we are spending our lives running from those things rather than standing still long enough to feel it and heal it, that shit chases us everywhere. Everywhere, into every relationship. Professional, romantic, family relationships across the board. That stuff chases us everywhere. So to say that something happened 30, 40, or 50 years ago, let it go already, just get over it, someone who is going to say that to you, they might be well-intended, but they truly don't have a clue. They truly don't have a clue, because the reality is, until we go in and do the deep dive and feel and up-level and heal that shit fully discharging the reality, and there's a process that you have to go through to be able to do that fully, to finally be able to release and discharge and make peace with your history. Until you do that work, that stuff is going to follow you into every one of your relationships. Number 3, getting clear about your unconscious magnetic relationship patterns and how they've been playing out in your life. All of this ties in together. Again, 95% of the game of life is unconscious. And from 0 to 7, depending on our experiences, and even if our parents were well-intended and well-meaning, even if their intention wasn't necessarily to harm us, experts say 85 to 95% of us grew up in dysfunctional families. So from 0 to 7, we were programmed in such a way that programming is now driving the majority of what we do in our life, what experiences we are having, what we are attracting into our life. So I take my students in the Freedom class through a process where they can get super clear about what their unconscious magnetic attraction patterns are. We go through a process that gives you a bird's eye view. You will connect dots like you have never connected before. One of my clients said that the other day in her testimonial, which is on my timeline. You can read it. She's a mental health practitioner who came to me in spite of the fact that she's been working as a therapist for over 20 years. She ran out of solutions, workable solutions for herself in her own personal journey. So she came to me for help. And one of the many fabulous things she said as a result of going through the Freedom class was that you will connect dots that you didn't even know were out there. And that's what going through the process of understanding your unconscious magnetic relationship patterns is all about. Getting a bird's eye view on that, and then honing in on healing and clearing that stuff, which brings me to the 4th step. So the 3rd step is getting clear about your unconscious magnetic relationship patterns. The 4th step is clearing it. Truly doing the work of clearing it. And I do a lot of different things with my clients in the program to clear. One of the most powerful techniques I use is energy psychology. It's a very powerful technique. I won't get into the details of it here and now, but suffice to say, there are very gentle yet powerful and effective techniques that we use in the program that help you clear, very gently and elegantly, clear a lot of the garbage that we've been carrying around for decades. Let's get that stuff out of our energetic force fields. Let's get that stuff out of our cells, out of our unconscious mind. Next, 5, learning about codependency recovery solutions, and implementing those solutions. Learning about codependency recovery solutions, and implementing those solutions. Because here's the thing, friends, like it or not, the truth is, if we have a tendency, a pattern to find ourselves in unhealthy, toxic, destructive relationship patterns in any area of our life, we have codependency issues that need to be addressed. And that is not an insult. Welcome to the freaking human race on planet Earth. It's epidemic in our culture. It's epidemic in our society. You know what isn't epidemic? You know what isn't prevalent in our society? Is people who have the courage and the wherewithal to roll up their sleeves, look at their shit, and do their work so that they can heal and vibrate at an entirely different level, one soul at a time. This is how we heal the planet, I truly believe, by doing our own work. And for the purpose of this conversation, that very much includes codependency recovery, my friends. that really is, the bottom line of what it's all about. There's a lot to be said about that, but we go into great detail with regards to that in the Freedom class. Number 6, learning about narcissistic abuse recovery. Learning about narcissistic abuse recovery solutions, and beginning to implement those solutions. Again, we go into great detail with regards to taking our focus off of the problem. Now, that's not about denial. We've acknowledged the problem. We've been staring at the problem for years. We know what the problem is intimately. We've been staring at it like this for decades probably. Taking our focus off the problem and now starting to stare at the solution. Living in the solution, as they would say in 12-step. Living in the solution, focusing on the solution. So learning about narcissistic abuse recovery, the recovery solution, or solutions rather, and beginning to implement those solutions. Again, we do a deep dive in the program on this stuff. Number 7, understanding what your role historically has been in your dysfunctional family dynamics, what your role continues to be today, and learning how to stop playing that role. Learning how to stop playing that role. Number 8, making conscious contact with the deepest, most true, most authentic and powerful part of yourself, so that you can finally begin to shine that bright light of yours that the world so desperately needs, and you can finally start to show up in life as you were meant to, the reason you came to the planet to begin with. My friends, those are the 8 steps to recovering from unhealthy relationships. And in the Freedom class, we do a major deep dive into each one of those steps and so much more. The next round of the Freedom class begins Monday, the 12th of November. Right now, I'm running an early bird special with a $500 price reduction. So if you're interested, now till November 5th, we've got an early bird special running on the program. So this would be a good time to join. If you have any questions about the program and how it all goes down, you can either PM me, drop a comment, or go on over to TamieMcoaching.com. Either way, we'll make sure to get you the information. If you go to TamieMcoaching.com, there's a link at the bottom of the page to book a free strategy session with me. I'd be happy to connect with you. And I have to say, the more I run this program and women come through the process with me and come out the other end, feeling literally like they have been set free, born again to a certain degree, so much starts to make sense for them, so many, connecting the dots once again, so much starts to, line up. They're able to release baggage that they've been carrying for decades that's been holding them down and weighing them back. Within the first couple of weeks, every single one of my students, my clients that goes through the program reports back to me that they feel immediate relief in the area of emotional pain, anxiety, depression. They are finally, for the first time in their life or a very long time, feeling good in their own skin. They're beginning to experience peace of heart and peace of mind that they've never experienced before. And that's just in the first couple of weeks of the program. So they're getting some serious life-changing results that truly changes the trajectory of their life. So again, if this resonates with you, if this speaks to you and you want some information, reach out, would be happy to share. Otherwise, I'm going to call it a wrap for today. Thank you, friends. I see everyone who has just hopped on. Is that Demo? How are you? Thanks for tuning in. Nice to see you. And Heather, and Julie, and Jennifer, thanks for joining. If I missed anyone, my apologies. But I'm going to call it a wrap for now. Try to keep it short but sweet. So as always, I will leave you with this. Know your value. Know your value and unlock your freedom. Mwah. Much love. Bye for now.